Hey everybody, welcome to the second episode of the Three Pump Podcast. I'm your host Nick Bellingy, and I'm here today with Alvin Block and Stefan Block. And you guys want to say what's up?
They already know why I'm here. I'm just here to annoy you and get on your nerves, Hopefully try to rile you up.
Hey, I had some technical difficulties last time, but now those are all squared away. I'll stay off my couch, and let's get into this Three Pump Podcast, number 2.
And for anybody listening, for the second week in a row, we're missing one person because of mental difficulties. That person could not decide whether they wanted to be on it or not. That's just how it's going to be. So going into our first pump, we talk about sports on the first pump. So with that being said, the first topic I want to bring up is the NBA draft, the results of it, what you guys like, what you thought of it, if you did watch it, if you didn't. I know a lot of you guys checked out, who your favorite team got, where some of the top college players went, and so on and so forth. Steph, do you want to...
Sure. Other than the draft is going to be the draft, and people are going to go where they're going to go. DeAndre Ayton went to the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns got the first pick. Marvin Bagley went to the Sacramento Kings. I'm more interested in where more of the offseason where key role players who have been established here in the NBA for a while are going to go. More than just the LeBrons, but the other guys who may be free agents or may have a opt-out deal in their contract. That's where the nice little strategy and positioning, I guess, of the NBA in the offseason starts. And that's the thing I'm most interested in. But the draft was, I didn't really catch it, but, it looks like a lot of players from college and a lot of foreign guys got drafted, especially in the within the top 12 picks. And that should be interesting.
Yeah, I know Alvin doesn't really follow drafts in any sport really too much because I know you don't like. Well, it's not that you don't like it. I don't think you really care for college sports. You're more into
Right.
the pro.
I just kind of don't, really follow it.
Oh, okay.
But I am hoping that, DeAndre will be a good fit for the Suns because those guys have fell off, pretty bad. So I'm kind of hoping they can get back to some sort of glory, some sort of Steve Nash glory. You know what I mean? Because
True.
it's rough over there. It's real rough over there right now. Some sort of Charles Barkley glory. You know what I mean?
Speaking of DeAndre
Yeah.
Ayton, I think you might like him. You know what his nationality is? Like where he's from?
Mm-mm.
He's from the
Bahamas,
Bahamas.
right?
So you know what that means? Prostitution!
Yeah, Bahama Mama prostitution.
Yeah, it's like, I understand, like, if you look at things like, for instance, the Kings, they've sucked, or not the Kings, I'm sorry. Well, they've sucked too, but the Suns have been basically horrible for like the last couple years. They have like, they have some good young pieces that are entertaining, but not so much that'll give them, W's is what they're looking for. Like Devin
Right.
Booker, he's real fun to watch. Dude shoots the lights out. They got guys like Josh Jackson. He's more of a defender, but he did in the second half of the season turn it on and start playing pretty well on the offensive side of the ball. But one thing that they did that surprised the hell out of me in the draft, after they drafted Ayton number 1, the Sixers came around and drafted Mikal Bridges number 10, and they ended up making a trade with the Sixers for trading up 16. And the trippy part about this part is an unprotected 2021 first rounder from the Heat to move up 6 spots to take Bridges off the Sixers' hands for a guy that, I think Bridges fits more so on like a team that's a contender, because he's a 3-and-D type player. If he would have fit perfect on the
Right.
Sixers, and he's from, he went to Villanova, he's from Philly. His mom works in the HR department, which is kind of crazy. But the crazy part about that pick, number 10, is that the Sixers got that pick from the Lakers, right?
Right.
You know who the Lakers got that pick from?
Phoenix, wasn't it?
Yep. They got that pick from Phoenix, and I believe it was in the Steve Nash trade. They ended up giving up like two or three first rounders for Steve Nash, but they got one in return.
So it's like
Wow.
everything just came full circle.
Yeah,
But shit, that was like what, like 6, 7, damn near 8 years ago?
yeah, pretty much. Back in I think like 2010, 20, or 2011, 2012 season, somewhere around there,
Right.
when they had, mighty Dwight Howard, you know,
Hmm.
doing so much good on that team.
That's
Um,
mighty Dwight of you.
yeah, and speaking of trade, like I just found that crazy that it, like you said, it came full circle. They ended up trading for their own pick again, and I, I think that's great for the Sixers because one, they got Zaire Smith, which is like he's super freaking athletic, and then they also just to drop down 6 spots, you end up picking up, yeah, it's in 2021, but the crazy thing about that year is if they change the rules by then, high schoolers are gonna be allowed to
Right.
be drafted straight out of their senior year. Which, if you think about it, that's basically doubling up a draft class because in
Mm-hmm.
2020, they're gonna have you got to play one extra year, to get drafted. Once 2021 or once it hits 2021, you got the freshmen that went in to play college that year, and you got the seniors. Oh hell, we're eligible now. Let's just go straight to the draft. So it basically doubles
Yeah.
as a draft class if you think about it. So I think
Yeah.
the Sixers struck gold there. Um, Another trade I wanted to bring up. Did you guys read into the Mavericks and the Hawks trade for 3 and 5? How they flipped
No,
that?
I didn't.
So basically, and a lot of people had this guy as their number one prospect in the whole draft, even though he went third to the Hawks technically, which
Uh-huh.
is Luka Doncic. He's from Slovenia,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and he's been dominating over in, like over in Europe. I think it's
Slovenia.
no, he's actually playing in at Real Madrid. Um,
Okay. Oh,
but
okay.
it's like I can't remember the exact name of the basketball league. I think it's just they just call it the Euro League. I'm not sure. But the dude just turned 19. He's the youngest Europe Euro basketball Final Four MVP that they've ever had. And he's not playing with like bums over there. He's playing with former NBA players. That
Right.
one either maybe they just couldn't hack anymore, or two they got old. But still, it's a solid competition that he's playing over there.
No
And
doubt.
he got picked third by the Hawks, and then instantly. Oh, and by the way, when he did get picked, it showed Vinny's uncle Dollar Bill right next to him. Shout out to Bill Duffy.
Mhm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right next to him,
Uncle Bill.
Uncle Bill. Um, Instantly as he got picked, they were already shooting the news through. Yeah, he's going straight to the Mavericks. They just picked him here. All they're doing is sending Doncic to the Mavs for the fifth pick and a future first rounder. And if you think about it,
Wow.
that future first rounder, it's I think for the next 2 years, it's like top 5 or top 8 protected or something crazy like that. So if you think
Mhm.
about it, just to move up 2 spots, yeah, you're going to give up a first round pick, but if everything works out for the Mavs, it's going to be like a non-factor pick. It's going to be if
Right.
everything works out for them, it'll be in like the 20s,
Be like a
which
22,
Hey,
25
yeah,
pick.
which could work out
the
because
Mavs.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, the
No, no,
Mavs always got to have somebody foreign over there to run the team, huh? Be their superstar.
right?
That's what they do.
Well, Dirk's already he's not even starting anymore, so he's out the door soon. So yeah, that
I
makes
didn't know
sense.
that. Wow.
Yeah, wasn't he like celebrating his like 40th birthday recently or something like that? Or something crazy?
Yeah, wearing Tims and stuff,
Yeah,
Wearing
dancing
Tim's.
around.
kicking with
Dancing
Busta
around.
Rhymes.
Yeah, kicking with Busta Rhymes, freestyling and doing all kinds of crazy shit.
Shit, I didn't even know nothing
Hey,
about that.
big
That's
big
wild.
ups to big ups to Dirk, that big lanky motherfucker. He changed the fucking game for those big men. Everybody
Yeah,
wants to shoot a 3-pointer and shoot a jumper like fucking Dirk now. Nobody wants to fucking pound the rock and be like Shaq anymore.
yeah. That every time I hear Dirk's name, it's kind of a soft spot for me. Being a Bucks fan,
Right.
drafting him and trading
Hmm.
him for Robert the trash bag trailer. Um, but yeah, with that trade that they happened, well, that they did with the Hawks. One, it gives them a franchise player going forward. 2, they didn't, have to give up very much in the end, and 3, he could end up being the best player in this draft, and that's not even a long shot saying that. It's a very good possibility that could happen. Um, and the guy that the Hawks ended up getting is Trae Young, which
Right.
brings something up. The new GM of the Hawks worked in the Warriors organization for, I believe, the last 7 years, and
It's
he
not the
was
same
known
GM
at.
we know, right?
No, it's not the same GM. No.
Okay.
Oh no,
Just
it's
making
not
sure.
that GM. No, no, no.
It's not Southern Tip, right?
No, no, no. Even though Atlanta isn't considered the South, even though it's the Southeast for people that
Right?
don't know
Right.
geography. But what I'm trying to say is, so they had a guy in the Warriors. He was the guy that found, or not found, because Draymond was one of the top players in college, but he was the guy that thought they could make Draymond this versatile defender, this jack of all trades. And so he was one of the big driving forces for the Warriors to draft him.
Oh, okay.
And he was with them up until the beginning of this year. So their comparison for Trae Young is a young Steph Curry, which is kind of hard to say
Yeah,
for
that's right.
such
I
a
read
young
about
kid.
that.
But he's a prototype of Steph Curry. He's a really good shooter. He's the only guy in college history to lead the nation in points per game and assists per game in the same season.
Oh,
Only
shit,
guy.
okay.
The only bad thing about him, his defense is non-existent. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is the Hawks ended up taking a guy at number 19 that his comparison is Klay Thompson. So you see where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
They're basically trying to make a copycat or a mini Warriors team, if
Yeah.
you will.
Golden State Atlanta. Golden
Yeah.
State Atlanta.
So the Atlanta Warriors. But it's kind of funny, get a guy that was in their organization, he becomes a GM. First thing he does, start drafting guys just like the guys on the Warriors.
Yep.
Not saying they're gonna become those guys, but the prototypes and the comparison, I found that pretty funny and pretty entertaining.
I mean, apparently
Or interesting,
that's
I'm
the
sorry.
new formula.
Yeah, but if you think
know.
about it, dude, like it's a new formula now. But like for instance, if DeAndre Ayton and like Marvin Bagley, the guy that went to the Kings at number 2, if those guys become dominant, and then even Jaren Jackson, the guy that went fourth to the Grizzlies, if those guys become
Yeah.
dominant, the next big thing is going to be going back to big men, back to centers that are athletic, and that can
Right.
control the paint or control the game. So things are always changing. Trends are always. It's always the meta. I think it's the
Right.
most efficient tactical available, or tactic available. So,
Uh-huh.
but anyways,
I was just hoping LiAngelo would have got drafted.
shit, they were fans. They had a video of fans cheering, "We want Jello." It's like
I love, him in LA with his brother and his pappy. They would have took over that franchise, bruh.
dear
Yeah, isn't
God.
his pappy starting his own league?
I think he already does. It's called like the JBA or something like that.
Some bullshit.
I'm not exactly how it works, but I know the younger brother, he plays in it. That dude sprouted up. He's like 6'6".
He's taller than all of them, yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking tall now. He still
Doesn't he
can't.
play in overseas?
He did. Him and his brother both came back, but no, he plays in
Okay,
that JBA thing now. I saw something on YouTube, and it's all right. It's not like he's playing like if you just would have went to college and played there and put up numbers there, it would have been a lot more impressive. But I guess you just do what you do.
Right.
I don't think that's gonna do him any favors.
Competition-wise, it's what you get basically over there.
Yeah, like it's here in the U.S., but it's like a whole bunch of guys that couldn't make it.
Anywhere.
Yeah, so like, what is it really? Is it just it's a glorified pickup game.
Yeah.
But anyways, one thing I wanted to bring up since you brought up, if LiAngelo would have went to LA with his brother and his dad joking around saying they'd run the franchise. The crazy thing I saw is that in Vegas, the Lakers have the biggest odds to land LeBron. and it's not even close.
Oh wow.
Brian Windhorst, who basically lives in LeBron's garage, reported that it's basically going to be down to the Cavs and the Lakers, and that's it. People out here, glorifying the Rockets and everything, which, you know, personally, I said that if LeBron went there, it'd be a coward move
Right.
because, if he's supposedly the GOAT, which he's not, uh, GOATs don't do that.
That's
Uh,
right.
that's a super team, by the way, not something that was built organically.
Right.
But with
That's
that
his
being
formula.
said,
That's what he does.
yeah, that's his forte right there. Uh, do you guys see that meaning anything like for it to have
The
such
only
high?
way they're gonna have to make some moves in LA for him to go over there. I think they have to get they're gonna get they're gonna have to get playoff P, and they'll have to get um Kawhi. That's the only way. Otherwise, he's not going
I,
over there.
I hope Shaq talked sense into him when he told him. I seen an interview where Shaq was like, "Hey, bro, don't do like me and hop different teams just for a championship. That ding my legacy. Save your legacy more than anything. You're a champion already. You got 3 rings, bro. Like, preserve your legacy." And I really hope, honestly, he stays in Cleveland just to preserve your legacy. Like, you already won championships. What more do you have to prove at this point? Like,
Yeah.
at this point, preserve your story, preserve your legacy. Don't make it you're a team hopper because you want to chase the fucking ring. Just preserve your legacy. Be one of the best. That's
I
it.
agree.
You guys
I
both know
agree with
my
that.
my feelings on him. So, uh, like how you say to preserve his legacy. I really don't think there's much more he can do. But the reason why I say that is because the only way he can do anything is go to LA, Houston, Philly, somewhere, make a super team, win more rings, but that does not do anything for his legacy. Yeah, the
Exactly.
Slurpers will be like right
Honestly,
there. Oh, he got his fourth ring, he got his fifth ring, whatever, blah blah blah. However many he gets, right? But
Right.
when you go back and look at it, did you get it, or did the other two superstars you played with get it, or
I'm
was it
saying
all,
it tarnishes his shit
like? Because
if
if
he
you go back and
stays
look,
in Cleveland.
when they actually won in Cleveland, he didn't win. Well, he won 3 games when their whole team was there. Draymond was suspended for one, which was bullshit. I think the league was just out there to do it, out there to get him. Um, but if you go back and look at the 3 games they won to, win the championship, clinch the series, I think
Yeah.
Kyrie dropped like 38 or 40 in all of them. In all of them.
Right. Kyrie was playing.
But nobody
He was
gives
playing
him
his
any
life away,
fucking
bruh.
credit that is a LeBron fan. That classifies
Right.
himself as a LeBron fan. Nobody gives him any fucking credit. That's why he wanted the fuck out of Cleveland. Because if you
Yep.
go, you can go to Bill Simmons' podcast and listen to the interview he had on there, and he says that, and it's very 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 subliminal, but you can catch it. Bill asks him basically why he wanted to be on his own team, and he said,
Hmm.
I didn't want to be somewhere that whenever somebody lost the game, it was somebody else's fault, not the best players. But when they won, it was only the best player's fault, or only the best player that got them the W. He said, I didn't want to be
Yep.
part of that. I wanted to be part of, if you won with everybody. If you lost with everybody. That's what I wanted. And that's why he left. And it's not a jab, it's a point out straight to, I wanted to leave because LeBron. Everything,
Yep.
yes, it revolves around him because yes, he was the greatest player in the world at one point. It is Durant now. Um, but even if you are the greatest player in the world, you have to take blame when, you know, when it's needed. You can't just always take success and push the blame somewhere else. It's just how it is.
Right.
Even if like the media does it, he still should address it. And I don't think there's people that really much want to play with him anymore, because if you think about it, why wouldn't people? Well, besides Dwayne and Derek fucking Rose, who else is taking less money to play in Cleveland?
That's right.
You know?
That's why
Snowy
JR
Cole
kind of
from
wants out because
Snowy
he's
Cole
a
from Cleveland.
he said the same thing. He's like, yeah, bro, like it just sucks that no matter what happens, it's never LeBron's fault, and basically, no matter what happens, it's always because of him we won.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I've heard that's why JR. I've read something that's why he's like, I'm kind of cool, bruh. They don't do me justice.
That's what I said in the last one, guys. Like, don't get it twisted. He's gonna be a year older. He's not the same freight train as he was in 08, 09. He's a year older now. And
All it
guys are
takes
starting
is one little injury to start it all. Look at Kobe.
to. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Kobe didn't miss shit for 15 years, 16 years. One
And
injury,
Achilles,
and then bam, it just
he was out.
started rolling.
Changed him up. He had to change his whole game up. Think about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And he lost a
He
step.
didn't
Didn't have
jump.
to jump
He
anymore.
didn't
Didn't have
jump
to
the
lift.
same. Nothing. Yep.
But anyways, I don't know. I think I'd probably say that's enough NBA talk for today. We're gonna have a lot coming up next week because I
Right.
believe free agency starts on the 1st. I want to say the 1st of July.
Really interested to see where Dwight goes.
Yeah, right. Because he's getting a buyout. That's true. What team are you gonna fucking cause cancer in the locker room next?
Oh,
Um,
shit.
With that being said, something you brought up before we started the podcast was not the Lakers. I'm sorry, was the Yankees record.
Right.
And bringing that up, figure we could talk a little bit about baseball. My favorite sport.
Right.
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 And your Yankees being it
Number
hurts.
one, can I just clear the air? Like,
Yeah,
I'm a Yankees fan only because of the fact of everybody hates on the Yankees and calls them the evil empire. So I root for the villain. I root for the bad guy. So yeah, they're my Yankees. I like the Yankees. I ride with them. Even though we're here in California, I still like them just based off that. So
Actually,
either way, they're
since you said that, why don't we just clarify let's clarify what team we're fans of in each sport, just so later down the road we don't have to have people keep guessing and stuff. I'll just go ahead and start off with mine. For me, in the MLB, it's the Dodgers all the way. In the NBA, it's the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, haha, I know that's funny, but for real, I'm a Bucks fan. Get over it. Because I've had to sit here and live with the shit they continue to pour out every year. The only bright light we have is Giannis Antetokounmpo and a little bit of Chris Middleton. And then in the NFL, it would be the Denver Broncos. And I don't think we have to cover soccer or hockey, but
Yeah.
go
Well,
ahead and say
my
yours,
teams
I
are. I don't have a basketball team. I'm just kind of. I like to root for the underdog in basketball, low key. So I mean, I don't know. I'm not really biased when it comes to that. So that's why even talking about it and watching games is kind of like because I don't really have much. Something I look forward to. Oh, this team has to do good this year because I don't really have a team. But now when it comes to football, I am interested because I'm an Eagles fan. Not a bandwagon fan. I've been a Philly fan since I was about 14. So about 14 years. 13, 14. I've been a Philly fan about 13, 14 years, whatever. So, I've been around for the no rings jokes, and I've been around for the dog days, no pun intended, with Michael Vick. You know what I mean? I've been around for a minute.
Damn.
That's a thing. You know what I mean? That's a thing.
Damn.
I've been riding this train for a minute, y'all.
Shit.
And baseball, I just watch a little bit. I had a trip out to Maryland once and went to an Orioles game. So that's kind of who I side with a little bit. I mean, like I said, I'm not watching it heavy either. It's like, okay, they lost, whatever. But other than that, whatever.
Steph, you're a Yankees fan.
Yeah, I'm a Yankees fan and the MLB, NFL. I'm a Raiders fan, probably until they move to Las Vegas, and then after they move out of Cali, I'll probably just root for the league. I'll probably just root for the referees. Hell, they never lose. And then
right.
for the NBA,
The New England referees.
No, fuck them. Fuck them. Brady was that was a, never mind. Fuck the Tuck rule.
Yeah, we'll get
As
into
for
the
the
NFL talk later.
yeah, you over here got me discombobulated.
My bad.
And then as for the NBA, I like the Lakers. I root local. I like the Lakers just because they're out here in Cali as well. You know, Kobe Bryant's one of my favorite basketball players of all time, so I tend to lean to them and root for them. So those are my teams right there.
All right. So now that we got that cleared out the way, we'll get into some baseball talk. You know, with your Yankees leading the league, uh, they have the best record percentage-wise, but I believe the
Yes,
Red
they're one game
Sox,
behind the Houston, aren't they?
n not well by wins, yes, but
Yeah. Okay. When? Okay.
by
Okay. Yeah, you said
by winning
percentage. You're right. My
percentage,
bad.
yeah, by winning percentage, they have the best winning percentage in baseball. You got to remember, baseball has it's kind of odd until the very last day of the season. Some people have more
Right.
games played than others, so they usually go by the games back system. But yeah, the Yankees have the best percentage in baseball, but the Red Sox and the Astros have the most wins. One thing I want to bring up though, and I'm kind of stoked about this because it seems to be a trend every year with the fucking Dodgers. Maybe not so much last year because they went on a tear and had the best record in baseball. I
Right.
think by one game over the Astros, but you know, one game that mattered, we didn't win it. So,
Hmm.
um, but the one thing I wanted to bring up was the fact that they were in like dead last, like just about 2 months ago. Like even the fucking
Wow.
Padres were ahead of them in the division. And
Shit.
as we sit here today, which is Saturday, uh, June 23rd, they are in second place, 2.5 games back of the
Let me
Diamondbacks.
cut you off real quick, Nick. If
Go
you
for
would
it.
have said that like a minute later, you would
Right?
have had your dates completely wrong.
Yep. Hell
Anyways,
yeah.
go ahead.
I just now noticed that too. Uh, but yeah, I just wanted to bring up they've come all the way out of last place into second, and I want to say this is the third out of the last 4 years that they've done that. And when they tend to do that, they end up winning the division by a landslide. I think the only year that it was close was 5 years ago.
Hmm.
Let me see, 20, yeah, no, 6 years ago when the Giants ended up winning the World Series as the wild card team. Uh, but even then, uh, Dodgers came out almost dead last to take to the division. So it's kind of an ongoing trend with them. They suck in the first month or two of the season. Somebody gets brought up, or like this year it's Max Muncy. The dude's tearing it up. Dude's had like 7 home runs in the month of June, and we're not even close to being done with the month yet. And they bring him up, give him a spark. Ross Stripling's been pitching out of his mind. Uh, Gives him a little spark, and they start climbing in the division. Um,
What's up with Kershaw? Is his back still broken?
he's actually coming off the deal to pitch tomorrow, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to say he's pitching tomorrow. Could be wrong on that, but yeah, he's pitching tomorrow.
It's
Um,
crazy. It's crazy to think because the old narrative back in the day, I would say about a decade ago, would be that the Dodgers would start hot during the first half of the season and then kind of just
And then
burn out
fall
and
and then
off.
flame out
fall off,
in the
yeah.
second half. Yeah.
And that was
So
usually
it'd be
because like
interesting to
all
see.
their guys would be here, and then we hit August and everybody's hurt. The only
Right.
consistent player we had was Andre Ethier. Dude played through injuries left and right to try to win games, and fucking Don Mattingly just buried him into the ground. But yeah,
Put
that's
me in the ground.
I think that's my little baseball update of the week.
I
Probably
mean,
touch more
halftime.
on
I
it.
mean, the All-Star break coming around the corner. Right? We got a few more weeks.
Yeah, yeah. I think once we get closer to that, we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we do a little
Because I don't know
round
really
table.
who's leading in the American League right now, but I know in the National League, I want to say the catcher's Buster Posey, first base is Freddie Freeman, I think. I think there's like three fucking Braves that are in the lead. I want to say it's like Ozzy Albies at second base. Brandon Crawford for the Giants is at short. Third base, I'm not too sure. Oh, maybe it's Arenado. I'm not too sure on that, but I know the outfield is Bryce Harper, Matt Kemp, and Nick Markakis. Matt Kemp's been tearing it the fuck up too. this whole season.
No love.
Dude just hit a
No
grand
love for,
slam. A
Yeah, he
pitching
hit
grand
two
slam
of them,
today.
right? Oh, no, 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 one.
Yeah, pitching grand slam
Yesterday?
today.
no love for Jason Jones or you know, some of those all-time badasses like Jason
we going back to
Giambi
the
or
roid rage days. All right,
yeah, you know, the Roy Ray
we
days.
we could pull half those off the
Mark,
Yankees.
Mark McGuire. Oh
Right?
yeah. Or Gary
Because the only
Sheffield
reason
and
I
those
say that
boys.
is because not that the Yankees brought him up, but once they started shooting roids in their ass and hitting home runs left and right, Yankees would go and sign him, and that's how they end up, being part of the
Jose Jose
Yankee lore.
Canseco.
Did Canseco ever play for the Yankees?
I think he did for a minute.
I know
Isn't
he
that where
played. I think I know he played for the Red Sox.
isn't
I'm
that
not
when he
sure if
tried
he
to
played for
catch
the
the
Yankees.
ball? Isn't
Bounced
that
off
when he
his
tried to
dome.
catch the ball and it bounced off his head or some shit? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, for him to bring steroids in the game, he sure did expose it.
He snitched.
You know what I mean? He
Straight
snitched
snitched on
everybody out.
everybody.
Everybody.
Like
Everybody.
he's like, you ain't gonna take steroids with me no more. All right, I got you guys. Don't
Right?
worry. Or oh no, I'm
I won't
getting
tell
got.
you.
Nah, everybody's getting got.
Yeah,
Straight-
he
straight
played
up.
with the A's or he won a World Series with the A's in '89, and then he won with the Yankees in 2000.
Oh, okay.
He should have eased everybody.
Wait, he was on the
Smokey over
Yankees
here
team in
taking a
2000?
shit.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? That's
I
wild.
think that's when the ball bounced off his dome.
I can't remember if he was in New York or if he was in Texas when that happened. But anyways, let's go ahead and guess we can do a little World Cup update, and then yeah, we'll go World Cup and then some wrestling talk.